Thank you so much. I obviously got a different memo than the other inductees and recipients. I thought we were supposed to send embarrassing photos that you could see tonight. So as you can tell, I did my best to find those that would embarrass me, especially the little one on the car in the uniform. So that was pretty good. You know, what an honor it is to be here. I laughed when I got the phone call. You know, I've been able to come back to campus so many times, whether it's to the College of Business and speak to undergrads or MBAs, or had a chance to be the keynote speaker at the Fast 56 dinner a couple of years ago. And so when I got the call, I thought, oh, great, another opportunity to come back to campus and speak. And Joie, we'd like you to come, and you're going to receive an honor. You're going to be one of our Alumnus Awards winners. And I said to myself, did you guys vote on that during a happy hour? How did I qualify? I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just a guy who grew up as a stuntman. I'm not really sure how I made it this far. But I will tell you this, the experience I had at USF was truly transformational. I had spent 20 years of my life on the road with the family business and truly did not think I would do anything but run the family business and be a stuntman. And so there's that point in your life when you say it's time to do something different. And in typical fit of the arrogance of youth, I decided to quit, and I jumped out of the plane without a parachute. Luckily, the soft landing was at USF. I enrolled in the MBA program, and I definitely have to pay my thanks to Dean Anderson. I see him out there. The dean when I was at the college, Dr. Tom Johnson. Thank you for hiring me as a grad assistant. And unfortunately, the course that Tom Johnson taught back then was ISM 3431. It was management science. We taught linear programming, queuing, and inventory analysis. And back then, in 94, 95, we taught the students to do it by hand. We were the worst rated business class in the curriculum. So I have to teach students anything by hand back then. I think Dr. Ellis Blanton, Richard Fentress, a great core of people, Dr. Baumgartner in charge of the MBA program, but just the chance to be among those individuals. And I'll never forget this. I'll never forget sitting there thinking about, what am I going to do? You know, life changes for you when you kind of leave a family business and you venture out on your own. And my wife, Susan, is sitting here, and thankfully she had the job and was able to put me through school to figure out what it was I was going to do, but really to understand what was next for me. I had never put a resume together. I really didn't apply myself in my undergraduate studies. And so at USF, it was an opportunity to really understand what was next, to apply myself, to really say to myself, you can sleep when you retire, okay? Now's the time to do something. And I'll never forget this, having a conversation about what I should do, what is next for me. And I don't know if it was the dean or TJ or one of the other professors is like, Joey, look at the experience you have. Look at how big business motorsports has become. You're the only guy that's going to be out there with an MBA from this school who's got 20 years in the business. You know, you need to stay in the business. I sent 2 resumes out that summer before my graduation. I don't know what the cost of a stamp was back then, but it's the reason I'm standing in front of you today. And I actually got a rejection letter from NASCAR with one of those letters. And I got a letter from Indianapolis saying, we'd love to have you join us and actually operate the Walt Disney World Speedway. And from then, it just took off in terms of the opportunity to actually go to Joliet, Illinois and build a racetrack there, go to Indianapolis and actually run that historic property. And actually, I want to pay respects to my grandfather and the legacy he created. He was a race car driver before he was a stuntman. He actually raced in Indy 7 times, finished 5th 3 times, was the first man to ever wear a seatbelt in the Indy 500. Back then in 1946, they thought it was safer to get thrown from the car in an accident. They averaged 120 miles per hour that race. Anybody want to get thrown from a car at 120? Racing was much different back then. And in 1943, racing was outlawed. And so he bought the remnants of a stunt show and named it the Joie Chitwood Thrill Show. So for 55 years, my family owned and operated that stunt show. We traveled across the country performing here and there. And some of those stunts were pretty funny, like the aerial wing walk. But I have to tell you, my favorite was the human battering ram. I would have a fire suit on and a helmet, and I would lay on the hood of a car, and they would drive me through a burning board wall. I can't think of anything that has prepared me as well for a career in motorsports as the human battering ram. I just wish they would let me wear the helmet again. It's no fun doing it just with your head. So, you know, for me, it's such an honor to be here. And I think one of our others said a scam. You know, in terms of where I am in my career and what I've done, it's a heck of a scam. I don't know why they let me do it or how I've come this far. I'm just a guy who grew up as a stuntman and learned to work hard and travel around the country and perform for others. And so the chance to kind of take those skills, come to USF, and be given the opportunity to apply myself, to take on leadership opportunities, to work with all the great people here, It's the reason why the minute I get the call at any time to come back to USF, I take it. And whether it's speaking to undergrads or speaking in, I actually worked hard. Look at this, Dean Anderson made me work yesterday. I went down to the Sarasota campus. I had to do a radio interview. We talked to undergrads, MBAs. We did a speech at night. But the minute I get that call, absolutely, how do we fit it in? What can I do to come back and talk about how great this experience was for me? Believe me, for me, thinking about not applying myself and coming to a place that said, you can do whatever you want, and we're going to help you get there. And now to maintain that relationship over the past 20 years or so, it's been really special for me. Of course, it's always great to have family and friends here. I've got a table of friends from high school and my second family over there. I've got my family over there, and of course, my son, J4, of course, he's now taller than I am. He's only 13. That photo in there didn't do him justice. And of course, my lovely wife for supporting me along the way. It's been a heck of a ride. It really has. And I think about what we do in Daytona. And we talked about this renovation project and some things like that. Big Bill France decided to take a risk. He moved racing from the beaches to the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway. We all know what it takes to build things, right? And it takes plans and labor and capital and concrete and steel. But back then it took a lot more. It took determination, it took vision, it took imagination. He had to imagine something bigger, faster, more exciting than anything that had been built to date. You know what imagination does? It fuels desire. And I can remember sitting in an office in the USF campus, and imagination fueled my desire to say that day, what do you want to do? I want to be the president of a super speedway. And I said that when I was in the office at USF. And here I am, years later, having run Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Daytona International Speedway, and I wouldn't be here today were it not for my MBA from the University of South Florida. So with that, thank you so much for letting me be here. Thank you for letting me talk. I probably went over my 5-minute time limit. When they told me I was on 5 or 6 minutes, I can barely say my name in 5 minutes. I need more time than that. But anyways, I want to leave you with, well, I know some of you probably heard it if you were here for the Fast 56 dinner, but it is one of my favorite sayings, and I'm going to give it to you because I actually think it now applies to more than just what we do in Daytona. So Mario Andretti, famous race car driver, the only man to ever win an F1 World Championship, an Indy 500, and a Daytona 500. That is an awesome accomplishment. He has a saying, if things seem like they're under control, you're just not going fast enough, okay? I thought we moved fast at Daytona. USF moves just as fast, okay? And when you move fast, you finish in first place. So with that, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.